So today is Monday. It's Chav Beis Kislev Tavshin Ein Daled. We are in Teres Menachem Sefer Mamarim Tavshin Yud Aleph Tavshin Yud Beis in the Mamar Podoh Besholom Tavshin Yud Beis, and we are up to page Kuf Pei Beis. We're up to Ois Tes. The Rebbe is explaining Podoh Besholom Nafshi Mikrovli, and the two ways in which Avodas Hashem could be performed. One is B'derech Milchama, and one is B'derech Menucha. Basically, the idea of engaging the Guf and the Nefesh Abamis for the purpose of fulfilling the shlichus for which the Neshama is sent down into this world. And the Rebbe explained the idea of Sholom, Podoh Besholom, living in peace, but in the three areas, Torah, Gemilas Chasadim, and Tefillah. Learning Torah, acts of kindness, and prayer. In the last days, the Rebbe explained the idea of davening im hatzibur, the power of davening with the tzibur, and he explained that it's similar to the idea of davening in the Seder Semitzvah, when the effect of davening is far more powerful than during the year. The effect of davening in the Seder Semitzvah, even for a yochid, for an individual, is as strong as the davening all year of a tzibur, of a minyan. Why? Because what happens then is the moyer comes close to the nitzos, the luminary comes close to the spark, as it were. And when that happens, it's basically a reference to Gilui HaEtzem, to the revelation of the very essence of Hashem, rather than any of the Giluyim, manifestations of Hashem. And when Etzem is Nizgala, when Etzem is present, when the very essence of Hashem is present, then even those sparks, those divine fragments of energy that have fallen very far to the extent that they have become darkened, even they are lifted as well. Again, the idea of Shalom. And it's to such an extent that there is no possibility for opposition, but rather they all come together in a peaceful manner. Now the Rebbe is going to conclude by explaining the connection between Podoh Besholom and Yutas Kislev. We all know that the Alter Rebbe writes in the letter that when he read in Tehillim, the pasuk Podoh Besholom Nafshi, that's when he was informed that he will be freed. Incidentally, as I think I mentioned in a previous shiur, it's Perik Nun Hey. So what's the connection between that and Yutas Kislev? Why was Alter Rebbe saying that capital? So it says because the Rabbeim would say what's called Tehillim B'Shufi, a lot of Tehillim in times of need. The Tehillim is divided into a few different ways. First of all, it's got 150 kapitlach, 150 chapters. It's divided into 5 books. It's also divided according to the days of the week, and it's also divided according to the days of the month. So normally we say Tehillim according to the days of the month. And the Rebbeim, when there was a problem, they would say Tehillim B'Shufi. They would also say it according to the days of the week. Yutas Kislev, the first Yutas Kislev, when the Alter Rebbe was informed that he's going to be freed, was on a Tuesday, and Kapitel Nun Hey is in the section of the Tehillim for Tuesday. As a matter of fact, Podoh Besholom is Posuk Yutes of Kapitel Nun Hey, which is another interesting reference between the connection between Yutas Kislev and Podoh Besholom. But what is the connection between what's the internal connection between Podoh Besholom and Yutas Kislev? That's where we're up to. Ois Tes. According to this, we could possibly explain the connection between Podoh Besholom and the redemption of Yutas Kislev, as the Alter Rebbe writes. When I was reading in the Sefer Tehillim the pasuk Podoh Besholom Nafshi, I went out Besholom. I was freed in peace. What's the connection? The Yidua is known. The the explanation of the Frierdiker Rebbe in a number of his sichos, in a number of his talks, that the idea of the arrest, the imprisonment of the Alter Rebbe down here in the physical world, this came as a result of, how do you say kitrug in English? How do you define kitrug?
Decree.
It's not a decree. It's like a. It's not a judgment. It's the actual complaint. The complaint. It's more like the complaint, that accusation or unhappiness, as it were, which came about, which took place in heavens. In other words, there was a debate in heaven, or there was criticism in heaven, concerning the Alter Rebbe's conduct, in the idea of revealing the internal dimension of Torah in such a public and broad manner. The Afal became Omraz, the Rabbeinu Azokin, and nevertheless, the Alter Rebbe was then told when he was imprisoned, Kivan she'yischalta, since you began, Tamshich b'zeh, you should continue. It says that Baal Shem Tov, the Maggid, came to the Alter Rebbe when he was in prison, and they told him about this, and he asks, if that's the case, should I stop? So they said to him, no, since you began, you should continue. The Adrabah, not only should you continue, but you should continue, you should even add to Chassidus even more. And when this victory took place down here afterwards, that's because the victory took place above. So the imprisonment was a result of a problem, a spiritual issue. And the redemption was also as a result of spiritual redemption. This is because they pasken, they ruled, they decreed above in the celestial world. But from here forward, meaning from Yutas Kislev on, the revelation of Pnimis HaTorah should be in a manner of being publicized to the multitude. And this is why, when the Alter Rebbe was informed about the victory, and concerning the Alter Rebbe, what was more important to him was mainly important to him was the spiritual victory, spiritual redemption, rather than what? The physical redemption. In fact, it says that the last three tefillas, Ma'ariv, Shachris, and Mincha, the Alter Rebbe was in prison, the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid were present to such an extent that when they informed the Alter Rebbe that he's free, he didn't want to leave. So when was this? It's when he said the pasuk, Podoh Besholom Nafshi. Why keep a pasuk in his bayir? Because this pasuk explains the ultimate intended purpose of the avodah of serving Hashem, which is accomplished through Pnimius HaTorah, the inner dimension of Torah, which was revealed in where? In the Torah of Chassidus. What does the pasuk explain? Shetzorich li is mikrovli. That the interaction between the Nefesh HaLekis and the Nefesh HaBamis needs to be mikrovli. The Nefesh HaLekis has to engage with the Nefesh HaBamis. Nefesh HaLekis, the godly soul should be in a manner of closeness with the body and the animal soul. And this also, there is this innovation of Chassidus, that there needs to be this engagement with the Guf Nefesh HaBamis. As the Frierdiker Rebbe explains, that even the loftiest ideas need to clothe themselves. One should clothe in such language that even the human intellect should understand that each and every Jew has a connection to these loftiest, even the loftiest ideas. And he can comprehend them and bring them to actual effect. So this is the idea of mikrovli. That's the idea of Podoh Besholom. And nonetheless, even though there is an engagement between the godly soul and the animal soul, it's not in a way of a war. It's in a peaceful way. And in this itself, not only as it was during the time of Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon, that only those spiritual fragments, divine fragments that had a connection to the holy light, only they gathered through the presence of Shlomo, through the presence of Getlichkeit. But rather, even those sparks, those divine fragments, whose light have become completely dimmed, they too are also refined. This is also what the pasuk means in the conclusion, that I had to do, or I was connected berabim with the multitude. So until now we touched that. What is that a reference to? Berabim hoyu madi, that the people of Avshalom davened for David's well-being as well. Here the Rebbe touches is very interesting. Berabim, the many, the koyel and nitzutzes shenafel rishus rabim. This is a reference to those nitzutzes, those divine fragments that fell into the public domain, the rishus rabim, which in the spiritual sense, she'ein ze mokim sheyesh bekedusha v'gam lu'mazeh. It's not a place where there is holiness and the opposite of holiness together in the rishus rabim. No, the whole idea of this public domain, the rishus rabim in the spiritual metaphor, is a place which opposes holiness. And nevertheless, that even berabim, they too should be with me, meaning to say, not only don't they oppose, on the contrary, they become united with him. As the Yerushalmi says, that the Rebbe brought also before, I think, that also the men of Avshalom davened for the well-being of David and for his success. Who Malkei Mashiach, which is David Malkei Mashiach, right? Ultimately, we talk about David in the context of Mashiach, which is what? The birur, the refinement and the lifting of those fragments that are in the Rishus Rabim, whose light has become completely dimmed. And through the victory above, which was revealed when the Alter Rebbe said the pasuk Podoh Besholom Nafshi, this is drawn down and brought down in all the 3 areas of serving Hashem, of learning Torah and acts of kindness and davening with a minyan, which are also connected to thought, speech, and action. Why? Torah is mainly with words. The pasuk, as our sages say, teachers on the pasuk, for those that utter it with their mouths. The Torah mainly is bedibur, with speech. Acts of kindness are mainly what? Action. Maisa. The kol mitzvahs nikrayim shem tzedakah, because a catch-all name for mitzvahs is tzedakah. The word tzedakah nikras mitzvahs tam, and when the word mitzvah is said just plainly without specifying which mitzvah, this is a reference to tzedakah. And davening is more connected to the idea of thought or contemplation. As our sages teach, which is the service of the heart. That is davening. So what does this do for us? This idea of Yutas Kislev, that from now on, that the serving Hashem in all these areas should be in the manner of engaging. And in engaging in a peaceful way, starting from the occupying yourself with oneself with learning Torah, but a special emphasis on learning the inner dimension of Torah Dafka, in which case, in the learning of Torah, we don't have to be concerned about a situation and a condition, that one might learn it in a non-meritorious way, as the Rebbe explained above at length. So too, in connection to the acts of kindness and davening with a multitude, with a minyan, that the preoccupation with them is in a manner which is beyond reason and intellect, and without limit and boundary, through which the real meaning of Podoh Besholom Nafshi is accomplished, in such a manner that one goes out in peace and is freed in peace from Hashem of peace.